All right, I got a roll of filament from SainSmart, SainSmart, and it's supposed to be matte PLA in like a mint color, and sure does look to be that. And we get a recommended print temperature 180 to 20. I usually use PEI sheets with 50C for PLAs, so that is planned, well sealed here, good silica pack, and winding looks pretty good. And looks like, do they give you an easy way to open? No, looks like you need to cut it. So we'll do that. There you go. Did you hear the sound? Probably not with the microphone there, but sound of the air rushing in since it was well sealed there. Again, silica pack. So use that for other stuff. Um, so this is what I'm used to with matte PLAs. What you have to be careful is not doing too much, retraction, anything that would be pulling it back and forth. It can rub and kind of get dusty. And if you see right here where maybe you can, maybe can't, where it's, so if you flex it too much, it will start kind of getting weak there and kind of have, so it's pliable until it's not. So, but that's just what matte PLAs tend to do. So if you're not familiar with that, be careful. So cardboard spool, and you got some meter marks on there to just kind of give you a sense of where you are in the roll. So looks pretty good. I will go do temp tower and validate that and get printing and see what I can come up with that's all nice and minty fresh. All right, so here are some of my results printing with the Mint Matte PLA. So started with the temp tower, of course, settled on 190. So their recommended range 180 to 220, quite a broad sort of range, and started getting a little funky down here. High temperatures as expected. So I just went with 190. Calibrated flow, which I had to increase. Oops, that was just something that didn't stick on the bed. Had to increase the flow just a little bit, and looks like maybe I need to do a little maintenance here. It's not perfectly um, lining up there, though. I don't think you see it in the um, what it's capturing, but there's a little bit of waviness in there. Just I think got a issue and need to probably lubricate my um, Z rods there. So just a little bit on that. Now, if you haven't worked with matte PLAs before, retraction can be a little bit of a challenge. And so I had to slightly increase and greatly decrease the speed of retractions. But I think even on these torture tests did pretty well. Some really, really light herring, which I don't know if you can see. Probably there. But that's as good as I ever get with matte PLA. So just generally leaves a little bit of fine hairs that not too big a deal usually. Um, and then of course want to do the little benchy thing, thin walls, just so I can see, you got the benchy hole issue happening. And so things like that. So without trying to spend time making it beautiful, just do the same thing every time and just see what are the challenges with filament. So even with two walls, hides the infill really well. Pleased with that. Like to do a little Lego cube each time, and I think that looks really well. Looks really good. Sorry, printed really well. And a filament swatch that I keep around so I can refer back. And here's where I had some sort of challenges here with bridging, not quite working as well as some, but I really like the look. But just to kind of be aware, some of those bridging sort of things, getting it to stick together, can sometimes be a challenge. And so with these guys, and this is just kind of showing printing a little crazy fast, can kind of cause some issues on corners. I think that's where the seam is, and but so you got to pay attention to where your seam is and consider the retraction speed and stuff like that. So maybe if I cared about that, I would need to tweak some settings there, but otherwise, and I put a little bit of a, I don't know if you can see it on there, textured, use textured plate for that, and probably didn't have it squished quite as much, but little texture on there. So kind of, I don't know if you can hear it, a little bit of rough, so it looks very, very, yeah, obviously not shiny, although with the light here, kind of almost looks shiny. Just I think it's a little too bright in here, but a very dull sort of finish. But yeah, it has a not a rough, but as you move it, has a more of a friction to it, I guess. And yeah, I guess I didn't have that squished as much as I had wanted. And then, okay, just for fun, did some little fidgety things, and this printed really well. So it is very smoothly gliding and looks kind of cool. And then mesmerizing little star fidgety thing. Also, I think really, really cool. Might experiment with kind of cutting this in half and doing one half this color and the other half something else. It's also in like a matte, I don't know, purple, something contrasting, or I don't know, something I will experiment with. But for now, very pleased with this. Obviously, some tricks that are, just challenges that are just inherent to matte PLAs, and you need to be aware of them and work around and tweak a few calibration settings here to get the best results. But for most things, without really even fiddling with it, I think things printed really well. So I hope that helps you out. Have a great day. Happy printing.